it's for them. A lot of them are scared to stand up for the injustice that might be thrown at them because they don't want to lose that one opportunity. I have no problem yelling and screaming because I have many opportunities. I remember at one point I was not getting any reggae festivals. I wonder why, how come I not get a reggae festival? Till my agent tell me, say, the festival promoter them said that, boy, I'm not Jamaican and I'm not Jamaican enough, I'm not this enough and that. Now these are white promoters from Europe that has never been to Jamaica one time, but yet still have an opinion on how Jamaican I am when me live as so. I'm born as so, I'm raised as so. So, what I did to combat that, I did an album called Out of Many One Music. And I made sure to do it with reggae artists. If you know listen to the album later, everybody who them used to put on them show, but put them on the album. And then I do it with Sly and Robbie. Me and Sly and Robbie going to tour it. I'm going to make sure to get them to show them. I'm going to get them to show them cheap. Drop on the price. But when I got on their stage, they had the biggest crowd that night. And everybody was standing out of trees and hanging out, and they were all singing all my pop songs. And at the end of the day, what did it prove? Not a damn thing, because they're still doing the same shit. You know what I mean? But what we have to start doing is realizing our value. And the only way we get value is to create a movement. It can't be Shaggy and Sean Paul alone with those numbers. We are not the future. I'm sorry. The future is these young artists that's coming up right now, and they gotta be armed with knowledge, right? And work ethic to take the shit up. What we should do is stand as some people who can help these artists and provide our platform for these artists. Anybody ever look on my track record? But it wasn't me, but an unknown artist named Rick Rock. I never hear about him before. Shit, I never hear about him after. It wasn't him. Yeah, you got to know. I did Angel with a then unknown artist by the name of Rayvon. Also did Summertime with him, that was a big hit, and Big Up was a big hit. Same artist. I did I Need Your Love with my brother Costi right there, with two unknown artists at the time by the name of Mohammed and Fady. They were local artists at that point. I just did a song with an unknown artist by the name of Conqueror. You know him? And Conqueror had a song called Banana, which was 2 billion stream in the middle of the pandemic. We released that. And then we did Go Down There with me, Spice, and Sean Paul, and Spice is a local artist again. And we just sold gold on that one. I'm sure y'all seen it. We're at 125,000 on our album, the debut album. And that song was produced by Costi. Stand up and them say how you produce that song. An interest for it. But Costi and I, we did Go Down There with Spice and Sean, right? And we created those songs. But them songs that we used to do up on the track records, they're all local artists. They're all new artists. I rarely have songs with big superstar, because with superstar artists come superstar egos, and I can't fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say, all right, well, I'll do a television show, and they tell me, say, well, I need 6 first-class seats, and 1 for my puppy, and the other 1 for my puppy's assistant. It might sound strange, but those requests come in, and it's fucking very annoying. So I rather go in, and you do whatever it is that is inspiring. You might see more work with an artist, and as one I say, what should I get with the artist then? I don't understand where I go with that. But I'm inspired by that. I'm sure a lot of you were confused when I was doing a whole album with Sting. Most people were. You read that on paper, you're like, what the fuck is this? He's dealing with some rocker from the police. I don't. How are they in common? But the inspiration was so much. We got in the room and he was inspired by me and I was inspired by him. So sometimes you make the record based on the inspiration of what that person is bringing to you to inspire you to create greatness. We won a Grammy with that album. We had the second largest tour that year. We toured for a year and a half. It's probably the most lucrative tour I've been on, personally. You know? But it comes from an inspiration. And sometimes when you use these big artists, I'm not as inspired as I do when I meet a little young artist from Jamaica who come with a vibe and an energy. And that person makes me want to create something that is outside the box. It's magic when I'm in the studio with Spice. It's just magic. Because when you're writing these songs and giving her, I got Shane who sang, Shane stand up and him say, man, stand up Shane, him shot, so you're not going to see me if him stand up. Yeah, man, jump. Shane produced a lot of songs with me, but he also did Mood with Kes, which is, you know, big record for Kes, for me and Kes. And when we're in the studio with Spice and we write a tune and get Spice, and Spice start DJ, so sometimes pick up the pen and see, she and I can't tell her, she pick up the paper, she look on it, and she say, all right, I take bet, one go.
Yes, sir.
I will take bet, and she go in and look on the paper a little bit. She said, then sing the melody again. Sing the melody. I press record, and she just shut it off, and when she done, and she just goes and fling the paper back off. That's inspiration, man. You know what I mean? That's the type of fun you have when you're in a creative process. That's why we mess with Spice. You know what I'm saying? That's why we mess with some of these artists that we deal with, because the energy, the vibe, it ain't got nothing to do with whether or not you got this amount of streams or that amount of streams. We got Lav here. Stand up, Lav. Let him see you. Lav is an artist. There's Lav. We have some amazing records we did with Lav, and Costi, and Shane, and all of us. And Lav has got about 4.7 million TikTokers. 4.8. I'm sorry, Costi. And over 1 million on Instagram. And that's just from her being creative and doing all of these stuff. And we're doing some incredible music. But again, you're inspired by these things. So it don't have to be, just sit down. Sometimes we sit down and we just sit for the member one time, we do a tune with them, I water them, and then at the end I say, yo, I'm gonna have to wait for another fucking feature. Because you don't have to sit here and wait on some big name to get on your tune. You create something that is incredible, and the thing is this: stars represent culture, superstars shift culture. And there's always a culture shift, and it just takes a superstar. And the superstar is right here, it's here. But what you don't want is a superstar to come up now and doing his or her thing, and you don't have the right team. I don't know if you see that thing there with Magic Johnson. They're all over the internet. You know, if you never spotted where they might ask Magic Johnson if him think him is the greatest basketball player. You see that, right? And him say, yeah, they're the greatest basketball player. And the brother look upon him and say, well, you have to have the greatest agent, the greatest manager, you have the best manager, the best agent, the best coach, the best. And Magic Johnson said, just go home and fire everybody. Because no matter how good you are as an artist, no matter if you're at your peak, if your people around you ain't sharing the same vision, you're not gonna make it. It's impossible. It is impossible. Everybody, not because there's an artist in here, the person who is your manager, the person who is your agent, the person who is your social media person, they have to be on a level of professionalism. They gotta be pro. That means if the interview starts at 8 o'clock, you have to be there from 6. Because we're dancehall. We don't have the privileges as every other genre. You know? Our genre is what? It dropped no JR, right? It's a 2%.
It's measured different now. It's listenership is number 10 worldwide.
Number 10.
Worldwide.
No.
That's how they're measuring it now.
In listenership.
Yeah.
What about consumption?
It's less than 6.
Yeah? Streaming.
Paid people, yeah, less than 6.
Still a small piece of the pie. You literally can't become a bargaining power with that. Unless you have a superstar that has superhero-like talent, charisma, charm, work ethic, all of that in one. To have a superstar is hard, you know. I remember, you know, so it's so hard to get they put group together. You remember the Spice Girl? You have one of them who can sing. She always take the high part. The one where they call Sporty Spike. She always sing the bridge them because the rest of them can't sing so high. So she the only singer in the group. And then the one them just hold some like a harmony and hold some low note. But you have one of them now, the black girl now, Scary Spice. So she represented, she had the diversity, right? And she get like a spunk, and you have the Baby Spice. You have to put groups together to get what you could get in one. So to find an artist that possess all of these things, charisma, charm, work ethic, you know what I'm saying? All of them in our one team. And talent. And can sing, and can dance, and can conduct interview, and can take over a conversation and fill up a room. You know, one person. That's a hard find. That is hard to find. People put groups together just to get that. So to have one artist to do that is very tough. But remember, tell us that Jamaica breed that. Breed that. First of all, every Jamaican thinks that I'm a star. Every single Jamaican thinks that I'm a star. See? When the superstar then come down from foreign and come and say them, just I wonder why the Jamaican them now rush them. Because they think they're just like you. Matter of fact, they think they're better than you. That's the mentality of who we are. Jamaica breeds star. This genre breeds star. Ninja Man used to come out on stage and just stand up and people just dropped out. Right? You remember that? Mm-hmm. Just stand up and pose. Freestyle off the dome. When the man walk in, they own a room. Look at the great Shabba Ranks. If Shabba walk in a room, every head turn and say, yo, Shabba that. First of all, him smell like 20 broke perfume buckle. You smell him before him walk in. Sweet. The man jewels. The man they not dress down. Every day Shabba dress up. Man they in character every day. Jamaica breed that. Every single, you look at the internet of all these artists that you see out there, everybody that you see. They're characters. Them no, you don't see them in yard clothes. The man they dress every day. The man they're in character every single day. Now imagine if you package that and surround them with people who know what the fuck they're doing. How much money that is. Because the problem is not that these guys know how to get your attention. These guys know how to make records. You know what I mean? They're gonna do it. You just need a producer that is, you know, talented enough to make these artists do the record the right way. And when I say team, I don't just mean team like management and also on the creative side. Half of these producers, you just make a beat. Not because you make a beat, that does not make you a producer. You have to have an ear. Quincy Jones ever make a beat? Nope. but he's a producer. He has an ear. Songwriting is a craft. Once you master that craft, that's it. You create the craft, you master the craft, and you surround yourself with all the best people. You can't miss. Especially when you have a star, a superstar. Why, that's even better. You're knocking down every door, and you got the best type of songs that could fill them up. That is what it comes with. So you want to know. I don't really want to take up the whole of our time. I want to open the floor to anybody who have any question or they want to ask in this thing, scene, so that I can give you whatever understanding I can get just from my point of view. Yeah.
Somebody over
Your microphone lock off. The muffin turn. Yeah.
First thing, thanks a lot, Shaggy, for that, especially that reggaeton story among the other seeds of wisdom you managed to give us.
Give thanks.
My question to you is in the Caribbean now, we're faced with the obvious challenges of being very small economies.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to lead, or what structures you see in place for us now to have our indigenous music elevated now to that status that you want to see, the amount of wealth creation? What needs to happen? Is it government-led, private sector-led, artist-led, or a synergy with all the different arms?
Yeah, well, remember back in the days, when you used to have to go to a major city them just to get something done. Yeah? Like, you used to have a man in a country now, him have to come to Kingston to get the music played. Back in the days, them used to camp outside of the producer, them studio, them just to wait to get on a record. You had to be in these cities. With technology now and your device, you don't have to. The internet is a powerful forum. So you can create something to grab attention if you're creative enough to do it, to get people to have an attention on your music, no matter what style of music it is. You can create that. Now, as far as the infrastructure is concerned, and you will see that throughout this conference also, we're trying to invite, there's a whole segment on financial literacy. And one of the big problems is to get investors to invest in culture. And what part of this conversation why I'm having is why I said 7 billionaires came out of hip hop within 20 years, is that some of these financial institutions and investors are slow to think. They're slow to the trigger, to think that they could come in and be a part of that. Because they might not think that music is tangible. It is very tangible. Culture is tangible. There's nothing that is sold without culture. Hip hop, when you see what Kanye is doing and all of these things, it's culture. And a lot of there's no bigger culture than this culture within itself. So we want some of these financial institutions to stop looking at it as something that is not tangible. They've been selling catalogs these days. I don't know if anybody know anything about catalog sales and why all these majors and all of these hedge funds people have been buying catalog. Because the catalog itself is tangible. You know what I mean? It will never stop making. What made it so valuable was in the pandemic, everybody's business stopped except streaming. Records still stream. Content still went. So that was still part of it. So we need a lot more of the financial institutions to get involved in the culture. Like in your country, there should be people lined up trying to develop artists and develop music and export it with you. And that's where you need to work on it. Now your little country, so your vibe, for trying to get the best, the smartest and the best people and show them that this is something that is tangible, you can make money on it. So that is real. But the internet to me is where it starts, as you can see. And once you sit here to the rest of the year, it will come even more clearer to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shaggy. My name is Mono. I'm coming from Zimbabwe, and I was inspired to ask this question by your story about reggaeton. Because I'm somebody who studied the story, the dancehall story from Count Machuki to Euro to Slang Tank Rhythm to Yellow Man to you and Sean Paul. And when you mentioned about reggaeton, you said it's the Spanish who created their own version of dancehall and created reggaeton. Mm-hmm. And DJ Kool Herc inspired the formation of hip hop, and it also came from dancehall. Mm. So now my point is, you notice that the reggaeton guys, they did their own version of dancehall, but they did not sound 100% like Jamaicans. And American hip hop is a child of dancehall, but they did not sound 100% like Jamaicans. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm coming from Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, we also have our form of dancehall. By the way, Bob Marley came to our country in 1980, and it inspired the movement of reggae music. Yeah. So, our dancehall artists in Zimbabwe, they are failing to reach international level. And I strongly suspect that unlike the reggaeton guys, unlike the hip hop guys, they failed to create a different genre, a different subgenre, because they are still trying to sound like you, Jamaicans, because like you said, you are too confident, you are very cocky as Jamaicans. So, what I wanted you to, the way I want you to respond is, how can we encourage my guys when it comes to originality and putting their own fingerprint? How important is originality?
Very. By the way, thanks for your question, and I love your country. This is one of the only places in Africa I didn't get to go. I was scheduled to go there like twice and didn't end up going. A lot of it had to do with money, because when I have only for money for this bit, your currencies are like, really, it's a lot. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, thank you for your question. And I always say this. This is what you guys are going to have to do. In 1993, I started out doing dancehall the traditional way everybody do. I do a song called Big Up, and another song called Mampi. But I went on tour with Maxi Priest, and I went to Brazil, and I played a thing called Rock in Rio. And on that show was Simply Red, Nirvana, Aerosmith, a whole bunch of rock stars. Maxi was the only reggae act, and I was doing backup to Maxi at the time. And I realized at that point that he had about 60 to 70,000 people at Rock in Rio singing every